Hello, hello, welcome to another video. Let's talk about the Game Awards last night and how they were pretty damn awesome and also just kind of fine. I feel like that is the best way to describe last night's Game Awards. I think they were overall, I think it was on the upper side of overall show. There was a lot of stuff revealed, and it was funny like watching it live, kind of watching some of the game reveals and being like, you know what? This game looks pretty damn cool. I know I'm never going to play it, but good for the people that are. I'm sure there's people that are happy. And I felt like there was a lot of that kind of happened in the Game Awards. There was big named releases. I'm about to get into that. But it just seemed like there was a big wide net of various different projects, various different genre of games, stuff like that was shown off. So I think that was probably good. I think the Game Awards are turning more and more into like a more universal, like a bigger circular type thing of everything is going to be represented and shown off. If it's some tiny cozy game, if it's a game of fucking loading boxes in a car, because that was shown off, they're gonna put it in there. My wife saw that and went, people actually have video games of this. I was like, oh, you have no idea. But with that being said, the Game Awards seemed to kind of just blow their load right off the start. It felt like, because as I was like, as soon as the beginning happened, I was kind of like, well, I don't know if we're gonna get higher than this peak, and if we do, it's got to be something super insane. So I'm pretty sure the first game that was revealed during the 8 o'clock start time, the actual start of the Game Awards, was The Witcher 4, which obviously all CD Projekt Red's like cinematics and trailers and everything are always like just so pristine and look so good. And it seemed quite obvious, like slightly into it, that it was going to be The Witcher. And then it obviously was a reveal that it's Ciri. It's going to be a Ciri game. I haven't played The Witcher 3. Everything I've seen on Twitter is if people are bitching about that, people are instantly replying, be like, you've never played The Witcher 3 because it's pretty much the best future for The Witcher, realistically. Geralt's story's pretty much over. Though they did have a voice at the end of the trailer, so like he's going to show up in the game. I would assume that would be kind of crazy if he just never showed up. And you call it The Witcher 4, it's almost like they'd be better off calling it The Witcher something else, branch it off that way. But he's going to be in the game and everything, so I guess it makes sense to have The Witcher 4. It looks super good. Hopefully, there's no gameplay, obviously. I don't even know if they said when it was going to be released. I would assume 2026 at the earliest. So that was awesome. Kickstarted. And then that was followed up with the biggest, like, random thing I had no expectation for. And that would be a Elden Ring co-op spin-off called Elden Ring Night Rain. As it was showing off the area and everything, I was sitting there like, is this fucking Elden Ring? Because it was Limgrave and everything. It was Elden Ring, but I was like, what the heck is this? Because it showed the fire and stuff moving closer, and then I started getting super paranoid. I was like, oh my god, are they making an Elden Ring battle royale? Because I don't think that would be great. Like, I think it'd be fun, but at the same time, it'd kind of be like, oh, fuck, is FromSoft, turning corrupt? But that was not the case. They showed off gameplay and stuff, which I feel like, if we're being honest, it's going to be a lot of just Elden Ring gameplay, but with some new additions, because it had, like, some wall running, stuff like that. Looking into it more, it seems like this is going to be kind of like a roguelike, especially seeing more of what FromSoft said about it, where it's like you and two others. It's like three people get put into just a random part of Limgrave. You fight bosses and mobs and whatnot, and slowly, get more weapons, level up, stuff like that. And it seems like when you die, you just kind of restart. Which, if I'm being honest, I think it could be really goddamn awesome. I think the premise of a roguelike type thing in a FromSoft game could do super well, because a lot of different roguelites are more difficult and stuff. And with Elden Ring, with the bosses, it just seems like it could be it could make so much more sense. And then if they also have some sort of like, not a big story, because I'm curious how this is gonna fit in at all. I feel like this probably has to be, like prequel before Elden Ring, just for the story to somewhat make sense. But I don't know. I'm sure there's gonna be some sick ass bosses, and the fact that you get to fight sick ass bosses and just play Elden Ring with friends or just online co-op stuff like that, it's awesome. It definitely seems like FromSoft saw the randomizer, saw the co-op, saw all these mods, stuff like that being done with Elden Ring, and we're like, you know what? Let's have some fun. Let's make something that kind of is like that. And I'm sure it's going to be on PC, and people are going to be able to mod this even and make it even more batshit crazy and randomize runs even more. Or, do Nuzlocke, do random shit. I don't know. People are crazy on the internet. It's going to be a fun time. And the crazy thing is that it's coming out next year. I think it said summer. I could be wrong, or it could just said 2025. But that's pretty sweet. I assume the turnover for like assets and stuff like that isn't as much as a full-fledged new FromSoft game. So I think that's why it's probably, just next year rather than like, oh, here's a brand new game that's coming out hopefully in 2026. But this, I had some hope / expectation of seeing something from FromSoft. An Elden Ring co-op roguelike type thing, if that's what it is, because to be fair, I could be completely wrong, was not anything I expected. If it was a BR, I would be even more flabbergasted right now. I think the whole fucking world would have been. But those two were the first two huge releases that started off the show, and I don't really think anything throughout the, chunk core of the show got to that kind of hype with those two. Like, those are two big games. I'm glad they start off with it just to show them off. I do wish that they had something in the middle that was, and there could be something that some people think, like that fan base was that hyped for, but I don't know. It just seemed like those two were like the two big ones right off the start. I would argue that those two were probably the bigger ones than the thing that was revealed at the end, but I'm going to get into that a little later. But there's a bunch of games. I'm going to miss going over everything by far. I'm just going to kind of nitpick some things that looked interesting to me. There's some big games I'm probably not going to talk about at all, but a lot of the games looked really good. Even the bigger, like, big budget AAA type stuff looked pretty damn good. But Dispatch looked like a very fun kind of, strategy kind of, what am I trying to think of? Management almost type thing where you're dispatching superheroes to do certain jobs. It has a bunch of like big name actor, the guy from Breaking Bad, Jesse Pinkman is the voice, and that has creators like Jacksepticeye, Moist Critical, but involved as well. So it's pretty cool. It looks interesting. It looks really well done too. So that's something I'm excited to try and play. The Outer Worlds 2 was, shown off again. It had a trailer, had gameplay, had everything, and it announced that it's coming out next year, which is also kind of crazy because I think people were a little like, what's going on with the Outer Worlds 2, especially with Avowed coming out next year in February. Is this going to be pushed to 2026? Because Obsidian's working on both, and both are coming out next year. So that's pretty crazy if that actually ends up happening. I wouldn't be surprised if the Outer Worlds 2 comes out in 2026 just because Avowed's coming out in February. Though I imagine Avowed's probably just getting a lot of polishing at this point. I don't think they're doing a lot of heavy lifting development. Outer Worlds 2 looked pretty goddamn fun. It looked funny, so that's exciting. Though it is coming out for PS5. I'm sorry, Xbox. I don't know what the fuck you're doing. You had two ads that were... There's something. Virtual Fighters coming back, which seems pretty crazy. It's almost been 20 years. It's been since 2006 since Virtual Fighter. So that's pretty crazy. And I'm pretty certain it was RGG that is developing it. I don't know if they developed the old ones, but that feels kind of crazy that like the Yakuza developer is making of just a virtual fighting game. Like it's almost feel like, is it going to be like a Yakuza version of a fighting game, but it's not Yakuza, it's Virtual Fighter? I don't know. It's pretty cool. More fighting games, the better, realistically. Sparking Zero was great this year. You know, the more things that can come out and, you know, innovate the different genres like fighting games is obviously good and pretty fun. And with RGG being said, I fucking love the Yakuza games. So I'm going to talk about this. They released like a little teaser type thing for a new project they're working on called Project Century. Looks like it's like an old, like, it was, the place, it took place in 1915. Looked like Japanese setting. Looked rough and tumble action kind of game, fighting. It seems like it could be pretty goddamn cool. It seemed very early, like early access earlier in the process, but I think it could be super fun. It looks really good. It looks very grounded and like gory and stuff too in the fighting. So that's something I'm definitely going to keep an eye on. And hopefully it, you know, turns out to be something really cool. Okay, on this list of everything revealed, it's missing a bunch, but I think that's the big ones that I was, you know, interested in. I think the thing that looked the worst, watching it live, my understanding, like watching it, was that this is just like a full legit Xbox, PlayStation, PC release. And that's the Game of Thrones game. It looked not good, to say the least. The graphics didn't look good. The voice acting seemed spotty. The gameplay kind of, I was like, what the fuck is this? Well, there wasn't gameplay. It just, the fighting and stuff. I don't know. It just didn't seem good. But looking at Twitter after, apparently the company that is developing it is a mobile game thing. So maybe it's just a mobile game, which at that point, sure. It looks like it probably a good mobile game. I don't know really how to say it. There wasn't any gameplay that I can think of that it showed. I saw stuff like people being like, oh, it's a card game. What are you expecting? Which, don't know how you got that. But if it is, fuck, all power to you, I guess. But this leads to the very end where Keighley did a very fucking cruel kind of reveal thing where he's like, makes a big deal, this special secret thing. They've been working in secrecy, and you hear that. And there's been the rumors that came out fucking all day yesterday of Half-Life 3 that Gabe was going to be there. He's going to announce Half-Life 3. And nope, abso-fucking-lutely not. You got none of that. You got no Half-Life. You got no Silksong. No Elder Scrolls 6, which I was hoping and thought. No anything with Halo. They're fucking nothing. What else was like? There was a lot of stuff that just was not a fucking peep. Like Silksong, I don't think it's happening. I've decided it's not coming out. Hollow Knight is a standalone game. Everything appears that it's a great game, so all power to you. It's a standalone. I'm sorry if you're a fan and stuff. I don't think you'll ever get a sequel. And Elder Scrolls 6, fucking Lord knows. Xbox has just turned into the Bethesda studio at this point, it feels like. Plus Obsidian, so like old Bethesda. That's really the only thing that seems like it's popping off at this point. But the game they actually revealed was called Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet, which, as it was being revealed, threw me off so much because he said a brand new IP, brand new world, and then at the very beginning it shows the planet, and I swear to God, it looked identical to the Marathon planet. And I was kind of sitting there like, wait a minute, Marathon isn't a brand new thing. And he said like, oh, a respected developer, all this stuff. I was like, yeah, Bungie, you know what Bungie is? Like, they've been around for a long fucking time. They made Halo, they made Destiny. They're a huge goddamn developer. And then as it was going on, I saw the fucking PlayStation, or not PlayStation, the Sony radio in the spaceship, and I was like, well, it's something Sony. And then I clued in, technically, yeah, Marathon. But I was like, that's not new. What the fuck is going on? And then it got revealed, and it was what it was. And I was like, oh. Okay. I'm sure it's going to be pretty cool and pretty good. I don't know. I my thing is, like, I'd want to see more of it before getting too excited, but we'll see. I don't know. I like sci-fi stuff too, but I don't know. It just didn't. It definitely didn't seem like a show ender. Like, I get that it was super new, no one knew about it and everything, and PlayStation just had their anniversary, so it makes sense that they had some sort of like big news thing. I probably if I ever play it, it'll be on PC if they put it out on PC. But hopefully it's really good. Hopefully when they show off actual gameplay and stuff like that of it, it looks really interesting. I'm sure it will be good. Everything Naughty Dog produces is really fucking good usually. So I'm not worried about that. I don't know. It just seemed like of all the big holy shit surprises that they could have done at the end, a new Naughty Dog IP wasn't in my top 5 at all, if I'm being honest. But that could just be me. I'm sure there was a ton of Sony fans and people like that and just Naughty Dog fans that were super over the moon excited about it because it does look fucking amazing. I will say that. It looked so gorgeous. But that was pretty much the Game Awards. It was pretty good, and then it kind of was fine, and then the end was sadness, but still interest. I'm interested in that new Intergalactic. I wish it was something else that was revealed in that way. That's all I'm going to say. But be sure to leave a comment on what you are most excited about for the... Oh my god, they didn't show anything with GTA 6 either. There's no fucking way that's coming out in 2025 now, right? Be sure to leave a comment on what you're most excited for, what was the, big thing for you with the Game Awards. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed. Consider subscribing. Helps the channel a bunch. I will see you in the next one. Have a great weekend. Peace out.